Hello out there and good morning, traders. It's February 16th, 2024. Welcome to the Apteros Daily Market Insight. Let's dive into our recap and then we'll update our levels and plan for today. Let's take a look at our recap yesterday. We essentially had a very dissonant picture between two different time frames. We had a higher time frame looking to go up to this area here. We had a lower time frame that was looking to kind of head back down into this area. And whenever we have that kind of situation, we end up seeing conflicting price action, usually some back and forth, and eventually one of these ideas kind of wills itself out. And yesterday, our main line in the sand, really for the early part of the session, was this bearish area here. And scenario one is that we held below. Scenario two is that we were looking to the upside here into this neutral reference. And what were some of the key takeaways from yesterday's DMI? One of them was about this neutral zone here. I'd mentioned this was going to be a critical area for the downside to get through to see any kind of further push down into the line in the sand. And that was pretty much the bulk of what was going on in yesterday's DMI. So take a look at what was going on yesterday here. You could see we had a good idea here with the shorts around this zone here pretty much all morning, and it was just never able to clear out this neutral zone here. So we had an opportunity to get short in this section here. MFE was pretty much down to about, 10 points or so on the ES, and into our first neutral target or first neutral reference, and then we were just never able to get down below that. And that was kind of one of those things where it becomes a little bit more of a clear sign that the longer we kind of held around this zone, the weaker and weaker it was getting. Of course, the market started to drift back up over the afternoon. Nothing for us really to do here besides taking a look at short side opportunities on inflections on the way down. And it was just one of those days where the short side just wasn't getting the job done for us. But we knew that this was a possibility due to the fact that we had a higher time frame, possible idea working its way through here. So it was definitely not an easy, straightforward day. Then we started to see hold in terms of time acceptance above our lists, right? So this is our list here. We're pretty much up to this point here, all in scenario one with no real MFE coming out of it, no getting beyond this neutral area here. And then we get into scenario two at this point where the holds above create time acceptance above our line in the sand, and we get an opportunity to kind of switch into the close for a little bit of a push to the upside there. So a very lackluster day for us overall in the ES. Just not a day where our narrative was kind of playing out to the downside based on this list. It was somewhat, expected in the sense that we were monitoring the dissonance picture between the up move and what was happening on the down move, and it wasn't the strongest day for narrative or context. Made that clear in the DMI, and this is kind of the net result of that. So now as we take a look at the DMI across the board here, there is no real official DMI going out for today in terms of a plan or a bias because we are just in a spot where the clarity is not there and we are still fighting some dissonance between multiple time frames. This little up move here really didn't change anything for us on lower time frames, didn't change anything for us on higher time frames. So we are just kind of monitoring what's happening in this area at this point for some clarity, hopefully coming on Monday, or maybe even I think we have some news coming into this market a little bit today, just a couple of announcements. So maybe that will shift the acceptance pictures around and we'll start to see something interesting here. So overall, no DMI. What you can do is, operate around these neutral areas and you can pay attention to them in terms of acceptance. So if we remain above, this particular neutral reference here, then it could be something like this, heading up to the upside into the overall targets here around 50.72-ish. If we break this down, we'll head back into that neutral zone yesterday that was kind of critical to holding us up. You could see it here. And that would be, at least a critical first spot to get to. If we get below it, then a possible, move all the way down into here. And then once we get down into here, we'll be testing some ideas for sure down into here. There's some bullish references and things like that. For now, I'm making them neutral across the board today because of the no DMI. I want to stress that because it's just not in a place where we're cleared up in any way, shape, or form. We are still seeing a higher time frame idea that wants to go forward, and we are still seeing some shorter time frames that have not accepted to a bullish state yet. So they're still technically in a bearish mode. So that's kind of what I would be looking to do today, and it would really just be a very light day for me overall, unless the news or something like that changes the outlook today, and we really start to hold below or above this area here. I think this area is a pretty decent spot to pay attention to whenever it comes to the immediate price action here in the ES. And right now we are accepted above it, but there is no clear bias here yet because the acceptance picture hasn't shifted for us. So that's the overall DMI for today. There really isn't anything for us to do right now. You could probably pack it up and call it early today for anybody that really trades a conservative process and is not willing to operate in a very cloudy or gray zone like this. I'm one of those people, so if it's not something that I'm compelled to trade, I will definitely not do it. So it is our official stance here is that we don't really have any clarity on the ES and the narrative is not strong.